Well, it's an absolute glorious day on the allotment. It's almost spring-like, and I know we might get a frost and freezing cold in the evening. We might get snow, sleet and hail and whatever the gods wish to send us before spring really comes, but I can feel springs in the air, and I can see the change in the light, and I think the birds and the animals can see the change in the light as well. I'm back on the allotment on plot 2 with my overwintering onions called Radar. They seem to be doing very well. They have a bit of protection at the moment, which is again mainly from animals rather than from the weather. Last year I grew the overwintering onion Senshu, which did very well. About 7 or 8 of them went to seed, but I think that's a tendency with overwintering onions. I only grow a few of them because they don't keep very well, but they're enough as a stopgap until the main lot of onions come through. And these seem to be doing a lot better than my main crop onion seedlings, which I've just sown. Well, here are my main crop onions I've grown from seed. Over there I sowed Red Baron individually into small pots, and over here I sowed Ailsa Craig into a seed tray and then transplanted them into these modules, and as you can see they all look pretty pathetic. None of them seem to be doing too well, but it could be because I don't have a steady temperature for them. They are grown on windowsills and I've run out of windowsills, so I have copped out and ta-dang! Red Baron. I have bought some sets from, I'll put them over there, bought some sets from the pound shop or Poundland for obviously £1.450, and I don't think these are going to grow too well, but I'll see how far I can take them, and if not I'll buy some even more sets. I do think of this as just a little bit of a failure. Just as an aside, I bought this rosemary plant from Asda's for 55p. It's a small plant, it's a well-established plant, but I think that's really incredibly good value. At the moment B&Q are selling a bigger plant than that for about £2.79, and later on Asda's will, put it back again, Asda's will be selling them for about £2.50, again a slightly bigger plant. Well, back to the allotment and a quick look at how the leeks are doing. They're nearly over now. I noticed when I dug some up a week ago that some of them were starting to bolt. That's the Musselburgh ones in the foreground. At the back there, the winter giant, and I'm not quite sure how they're doing at the moment. So I'll be digging these up shortly and eating them. As you can see, I have put some sand down, and before that I had put some well-rotted manure down, and I like to use some sand. I use unwashed sand, which is much cheaper. It's about £2.15 a bag, much cheaper than the washed sand which you get in the garden centre, and I haven't noticed any problems so far, and I like to improve the soil this way. And for me, over the many years in my back garden, my little veggie patch at home, it's worked very well, and I think it does actually help make the soil into a good loam. On the 9th of February this year, I had my first visit to Wisley and had a look at their lovely little veg patch and at their leeks to see how they're doing. I'm here at RHS Wisley on a very blustery day in Surrey, and these are their leeks called Bandit. They also have some other leeks called Navajo, and they all seem to be doing very well. This wonderful allotment garden is bounded on 2 sides by 6-foot hedges, one side by a 4-foot hedge, and open to the 4th side, so it does get quite a bit of protection. Well, from the vastness of Wisley back down to my own small veggie patch in my back garden, and here are some winter giant leeks. They're very small because I planted them late. They were really leftovers, and you can see I've neglected my own garden. I need to weed this because I've concentrated on the allotments. But I've noticed that there is no rust and there is no leaf miner, allium leaf miner. So maybe next year I'll try growing my leeks here, because I don't think there are any neighbours of mine who grow vegetables at all, maybe the odd tomato or beans. While I'm here, I can show you the Swiss chard that I've grown. In the foreground is Lucullus, which is a lovely Swiss chard, and there is bright lights, and I have them under cloches most of the time because I transplanted them from the allotment, and I didn't think they'd even live because they have such big roots, and I didn't think they'd establish themselves. I'm not sure that they need protection. Again, looking at Wisley, they don't have protection at all, and they're doing so well. These plants are really good doers. I'll be able to get a good pickings until about spring, and then they'll probably go to seed. This is the Bright Light Swiss chard at Wisley, which are very hardy and seem to be doing very well. They've also got Ford Hook Giant, which is doing well, and also Ruby chard. Back on the allotment, I've been staking the broad beans, and I've got a lot to do, so I've only done some of them, and I hope I'm not making a wind tunnel, but so far they look good. I've been trying to use different clips to hold the scaffold debris netting together. This is a bulldog clip. You get 3 for £1.50 at Wilko's, but it can only deal with the size of this. What I wanted was something that would deal with the size of this tubing. This is beach towel clip, which seems to be a bit big, but it's quite good for when you have a lot to hold together. This is the best clip, if I can get to it. This I got buying some wellies at Tesco's. This holds shoes together. I did ask them if they had any spare, but they said no, they didn't have any to give me, but that would be quite handy to use. Well everyone, the sun is setting, and that's the end of my video clip for today. I've decided not to do anything about why I like YouTube. I'll save that for another day. Take care everyone.